What do you want?
I want to nail the bastard.
For who?
For all of the girls he killed.
I want to nail the bastard, too. Difference is, I'm doing it for me. It's the little things, Jimmy. It's the little things that rip you apart. It's the little things that get you caught.
Still so satisfying.
The Little Things on HBO.
All right, since I picked this movie, I want to open with I'm pretty pumped. I did not pick Bowfinger again after watching this. I was not a fan of this movie.
Wait, are you being serious or are you kidding?
No, I'm serious, actually. I did not enjoy this movie. I thought it was my, quick sentence overview is I thought it was I felt like it was a very run-of-the-mill detective like mystery movie, but you stick in amazing actors. Like, I feel like if they weren't in there, I would have been like, this movie would have just been like, eh. But the one thing I'm curious to see, especially from Joe Cuffney, is this movie was filled with Christian signs and meanings and hidden things that I flew right over my head. I'm sure most of them did not grow up Christian. But like the guy's last name is Deacon. Like right from the get-go, there's crosses. There's all these like saints, like jam-packed, I feel like, with hidden stuff that I hope I learn from Joe.
Well,
I also agree because I don't know anything about that either.
I noticed that too. I didn't really see any huge parallels, but the only question it kind of made me think of is like, if you think of like, like all these like God references, it's like, okay, so it makes you think of the good and the evil, like who's good and who's bad in this movie. And the other big question that I feel like comes out of this movie is who is the killer? Do we know?
Do you guys both want to give your general 1-2 sentence thoughts quick?
Yeah.
Just so I know where you guys stand.
I'll go quick. I thought the acting was very good. I really like Denzel in this role, actually. I think he's like a good detective actor. But I thought the ending, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, but I thought it could have had a very like bam bam kind of ending where like it's a little more action. And I feel like it was almost a little anticlimactic, and it kind of tied itself together with the similarities between what happened to Denzel's character and the character who killed Jared Leto's character. It was a little bit of like, oh, that's it, okay.
Like it was good, but you wanted some more, kind of.
Yeah, I thought it was leading somewhere that. Like it kind of felt like it was getting ready to crescendo, and then it was just like, all done, So I very much like enjoyed the build up to that final scene where he's digging the holes in that in the field, but then like I was waiting for something to happen, and not much happened. So I thought it was a very good movie. There's definitely layers to it. I love that. But I wouldn't say it's where I would have expected or wanted the ending to go.
I agree with you guys. And I'm a big true crime film fan, so I was like kind of stoked. I actually had no idea what this was about at all. I didn't really read up on it. I was like, I'll just go into it not knowing anything. Usually that works pretty well. But yeah, I feel like I've seen this movie before, like a million times. It reminded me of Seven a lot. I don't know if you guys have seen that one. I don't know. I like you guys were saying, the actors were great. I know I love Denzel, I love Jared Leto, and I love Rami Malek. But the script, something I wrote down every 50 to 20 minutes in my notes was the script is awkward. It just doesn't make, I don't know. It just, to me, it was poor writing.
Yeah, I don't think it's to the fault of the actors.
No.
But it was not a good, I don't know. It just seemed like, also I read that John Lee Hancock, right, is director and wrote it. I think he wrote this in the 90s and like pitched it, but no one picked it up.
Gotcha.
Just like forever. And then directors would turn it down. And then he finally got funding for it now and like just directed it himself.
Yeah, It's got that vibe where it was, I don't know. It was based in the 90s, right? I think.
I mean, it definitely was based a while
Because they were
ago.
using payphones
Mhm.
and they had no cell phones. But
Those
yeah.
still exist, right?
Yeah, they do. But then, yeah, I don't know.
One
But
thing that I was with the payphones is when the payphone was ringing and he went to go pick it up, and it was like Jared Leto.
You can call
Basically.
a payphone.
I know that's
Mhm.
in my head. I was like, wait, can you do this? Right?
Mhm.
You can. Well, why would you call a payphone? And I was like,
Yeah.
I guess people would plan a time. If they didn't have a phone, they were like, I'm going to call that payphone, be there at.
The opening was really strong to me. I thought the opening scene was great. I was like, oh, this is going to be kind of the vibe throughout the whole movie. But I don't know. He reminded me of Ted Bundy a little bit too. The character, well, Jared Leto's character.
How many Twinkies do you think he ate for that role?
I don't know. Went full method, probably.
Full method on that one, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing he did for method acting. He was like, I'll just eat Twinkies. I'll get it. Okay.
But
He was good.
he was nominated for a
Very good.
Golden Globe, which is interesting. And don't get me wrong, I love Jared Leto, but I don't know. There just wasn't enough to his character where I was like,
And
I mean,
he's
he had
kinda
some
done
cool
this
parts,
before.
but he's done this before.
So it just felt like,
Yeah. He was just there. Like, I don't know. I love him. Like, he's great, but I don't know. And it was really weird to see Rami Malek as a cop. Very weird. I don't know.
Yeah, I like his character more like Mr. Robot than the.
I still have never seen it.
Do you think that Jared Leto's character was the murderer though? Because the way I see it, there's two options. There's him or the guy who was like the sex offender and committed suicide. Because after that point, we don't see anybody die.
It's very open-ended, like you were saying. I don't know. I honestly have no idea. I personally don't think Jared Leto was the killer.
But then why would he go through all that?
I don't know.
I mean, he seems kind of crazy.
People are weird.
Yeah.
He did say he was obsessed with true crime, so maybe I don't know. I have
Maybe
no
he just
idea.
wanted to be a part of it. I don't know.
But
I
it
thought he was
seems
gonna be. I thought he was gonna be a cop at the end. I thought they were, because he was on the phone and he called the cops. So I was like, oh, is he like running this whole thing?
It did, because it's like, was he the killer or not? But there were maybe just back to the script, but like so many coincidences of like the he's like the appliance technician, and then what was in the fridge, and then like when Denzel's like going through his apartment and he's finding like the same things that, and there are things that could have been coincidence enough, or it's like somehow Jared Leto like knows what's going on. Did his character have a name? I'm just calling him Jared Leto the whole time.
It was Albert.
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 Something with an S. It almost felt like maybe if he didn't kill them, maybe he knew the killer and was like enjoying being part of it, but not actually doing it. But then like playing these mind games with the cop. He called in the cop thing when Denzel was in his apartment that I didn't fully. Do you just on a phone at a bar? Do you just be like, yeah, cop down at this address?
Well, he knew because he knew they were breaking into his house, so he wanted to get them out. And that's one of the reasons why I feel like he wasn't the killer, because like they would have found the stuff under the floorboards if they really wanted to search, which they probably would have if there was a cop down in a house. They were going to search everywhere.
Yeah, if you called in a cop down, wouldn't they know if there was a cop?
Right.
I don't know. That whole part, like I get it, but
true. But I feel like in the moment you don't really think. They don't do the research. They're not going to be like,
and this is back in the day, I guess.
Right. Yeah. But that I don't know. It was just weird. But that was, to me, that was like the turning point where I was like, oh, this might get actually kind of, the suspense might start building a little bit. Because that scene was good. I thought that was great. And I was like, oh, is it going to kind of ramp up? Because the first scene was great. And then up until that scene, it was just detective story, nothing happening.
One of the things I did like, and this actually has to do with the script writing, or at least the word choice, but I thought the title was really good, because Denzel's character said a couple times, like, it's the little things that'll get you caught. And Albert said something not quite the same, but in a very similar vein of like, it's the devil's in the details or something like that, I think he said. And I feel like it's the same sentiment, and they did a good job pulling that out and putting it on the movie, even though like it was like I didn't it doesn't really give anything away about the movie, but I thought it was that part of the script I thought was well written.
I love when they say the title of the movie in the movie. Big fan of that. Every time they do it, I'm like
satisfying. It's like when they name, it's like same with songs. Like sometimes the name of the song has nothing to do with the lyrics of the song. Right. And you're like, what?
It's like every time I watch Friends and they say Friends, I lose my mind.
So meta.
I did love where Denzel like I think it was like he brought in like the trash after he looked in his car for like some DNA or something, and like the lab technicians like looking at the pizza and stuff in the big like takeaway. They're like, is there anything on it? And they're like, no. But you know what? And he's like, what? And they're like, it's from the East Coast. Folds his pizza. And he's like, nice call. And then it like ends. And I'm like, that was the big folds his pizza. This guy's from the East Coast.
Book him.
But there's just things like that. And like when Jared Leto got up before he asked to make the call, and he was like, in a Shirley Temple to go.
Yeah, I thought that was funny too.
Yeah. Brought me back to the Shirley Temple days of when I feel like there was one summer or something where that was like the fad of like when we were kids. It's like, oh, let's go to the store and get a Shirley Temple.
Totally. I did like his character in that way where it was like you could tell he was into true crime and those weird characters. I don't know if that was just him or him trying to be a character in his character. Like if he was actually that weird or he actually wanted to be that crazy but couldn't pull the trigger to actually kill somebody. I don't know. So many questions to his character, but it was fun. I mean, it was
a fun.
I thought they said, they kept saying red beret. And the whole movie in my head, I was going, why are they saying beret like that? It's pronounced beret.
I actually thought that you mentioned that and made me think of it, but I thought that would be a way better ending. Like, cause like very early in the movie, he's like, he pulled his garbage out of the trash can when Jared Leto dropped it in there. And then like at the end, I thought it would actually be a semi-decent resolution to have sent the real beret being like, no, like we know you got the right one. We just can't we can't say how we know we got the right one. But then they show that he's just like trying to make him feel okay because he's burning the one that he clearly just bought from a store.
That's why I don't think he was the killer either. Just because like they still had an open, like the case was still open in that way, essentially.
Like and like he had like he had like an entire apartment full of garbage bags, and then he was just brought him back and he was just burning them.
Isn't that though the like? How, because once he kills him at the end, they know they have to they basically have to cover this. This case isn't going to keep going because they need to stop it so that the guy doesn't get caught. So he goes and gets all of he makes it look like the guy moved and he's just like throwing shit in garbage bags. So it looks like he moved. And then also I love that end shot is like so cool with the house and the car and the one can burning, and it almost looks like a still image with the flame though. But I was like, he had a lot of garbage. One can.
With that, I was thinking, this is so bad for him to breathe in. You know how much plastic he was burning?
I was like, that smoke would be black. This scene wouldn't look cool.
No,
but
it was great though. Super
but
cool.
Wasn't he sent that to, now the names are coming to me, Jim Baxter. To right, he sent it the red beret as in beret. It's still in my head. As like I found it. Don't worry, you killed the right guy. Just like so he didn't have to feel bad, right?
Yes,
and then
that's how I got it.
Okay, and then he was like, "But I just bought this."
Yeah, that's why they showed the shot of the other ones in there.
Yeah, it's kind of like absolving the new guy from what the old guy went through for the person he had inadvertently killed.
I don't know enough about this, but why didn't he just say it was self-defense?
Yeah, I don't know.
There was, I did
everything.
think that, I'm like, other than the movie about like the cops innocently killing people and covering it up and getting away, maybe not the subject of a movie right now, but I did think maybe it's just how messed up the system is, but when he did kill him, I was thinking like, yeah, what couldn't you he's dead. There's no one else to say they're not going to side with the cop on this. They're like, this
And
seems crazy.
he had somewhat of an alibi with Denzel Washington's character because like they were both following him.
Yeah. And
I don't
he
know.
got in his car. He could have like said he grabbed him. I don't know. He did. It was weird for me. Like when he was like, "Hey, you want me to take you to the person?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then he's like, "Get in the car." And I was like,
Mhm.
"You're just gonna get in his car."
Well, that's what I thought. I thought it was actually going to be like, oh, like something's going to go down now, but like nothing happened.
I know.
Right? It felt like
Yeah.
I did love when they left, and then Denzel's coming back from the like convenience store, and he's got the 2 coffees, and he sees him, and he just like weirdly like sees him, and then goes and like tosses the 2 coffees in the bushes. But where my head went to was I wish he kept running with the coffees, trying not to spill them, and it was just a scene of him being like.
Oh, that would have been great. Yeah, for me, it was like, I think how I felt after this movie was, you know, how you're going up on a roller coaster and you're at the top and you're like, you're all ready and, you know, you're super stoked. I felt like we just stayed at the top. There was no.
That's
downhill.
when Joe was describing it earlier. I was about to say you're climbing a roller coaster, and then it's just like, all right, you're done.
I'm ending. I'm like, okay.
Those
what's
roller
next?
coasters do exist where like you start at the top, you go down real quick, and then by the time you're done, you're just like, whoop.
At the top.
To mess with you.
I also the other note I wrote down at the very end. Don't know what this means now. I just wrote, "Who's the girl?"
The blonde girl.
I don't know.
I mean,
Girl
she
that-
was the girl in the beginning, and she. What I don't get. Okay, sorry.
I don't even know who I was referencing. I just wrote, "Who's the girl?" as my last note.
So Jared Leto's character gave her a weird look in the police department when he came in. So I was like, okay, it's probably him or he has something to do with it. But I don't know. It was just weird to me. He also had the guy in the beginning had short hair.
I didn't notice that. That first scene was a little funky to me, just in terms of like, yeah, it's weird to have somebody like stop on a road when you're out in the middle of nowhere like that. But like at the same time, like what made her so uncomfortable to just like go for, number one, stop. Like if I was out in the middle of nowhere, the last thing I would do is stop if I was nervous.
Right. I know. I wrote that down. I was like, why would you go to the bar? Why don't you just keep driving?
And second, why would you run out into like the brush where it's like, I don't know, just didn't make any sense to me. And I was just like, basically all I took away from that scene is like, oh, there's like this, like a serial like murderer out there doing his thing.
She survived, I guess. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me it was like I love true crime films, but something I don't like when what they do is, you know, when they spend too much time on the detective side of things. I know people do like that, but like, you know, for example, Spotlight, like I like the context matter of the movie, but they literally spend the entire movie with like the newspaper or something, the people writing the
You
articles.
want it to be like in the church,
right? I
What's
need
going
I want
down.
to see like okay, the Zac Efron movie, the Ted Bundy movie. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I did. I accidentally watched it when I was trying to watch the documentary.
That's funny. But like I want to see more of the actual Bundy stuff. I don't want to see that courtroom. We've seen that before in interviews and footage. Like, I don't know. It's not interesting. I mean, just my opinion, but like the Silence of the Lambs, like the ending of that movie is what I want the whole movie to be like.
Yeah, I feel you. This actually kind of reminded me a lot of Nightcrawler.
100%.
I love that movie.
Me
Like,
too.
I feel like I kind of wanted this to be a lot more like that.
It could have been great, just wasn't.
I know. It was weird. I feel like it got so much hype.
I know.
That's why I was excited to pick it, and I was like, it'll probably be good. You guys will probably like it. It'll probably be good enough. It's
Well, so maybe we touch on the locations real quick. We don't belabor a movie we don't like that much.
Hey, there were good parts. The
There were
music
good
was
parts.
great. The acting was great.
the running with the coffees that should have been a little more was great.
Let's reenact that. I'm gonna
yeah, where
reenact
was-
that.
Let's reshoot the movie. We can do it better.
It was clearly in like Hollywood, around LA. That
It
The
is
thing
the
is,
City
how
of
far-
Angels.
How far away is it to drive from LA to Sacramento?
I think it's like 6-ish hours.
They kept saying up north, and I'm assuming they were referring to like Northern California. But I didn't actually know exactly where in California Denzel's character was from.
It seemed like just somewhere like further up, just like where it's all like the woods. Rural. Yeah, I didn't know exactly where they.
But I know there's a road sign that said like you're heading towards Sacramento, which maybe that means you're just heading towards there. You're not really anywhere near there. But I was like, how far up are they driving, and how far is that? Like that's quite a ways.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
Is there any locations for this movie?
Not in the app. I mean, I'll have to add. It's such a new movie. Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure it's easy to find.
I was gonna say I could think of, there's that one like restaurant Denzel ate at that could be one. The house is probably someone's house, so that's probably not a great one to go to. But and then I don't know if you could go to the field or not, but
I'm sure you can.
It's like
I'm sure
apartment thing. The gentleman's club he hangs out at all day.
Yeah, that was a long time at the gentleman's club.
Long time. I was thinking he was like, he went in and then, like snuck out the back, killed somebody, and then at night would come back. But no, it just turned out he was just hanging. Just another
like
plot point.
that like perfectly encapsulate how like anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Like, nope, just stayed there all day.
And it was a pretty long movie, so I kept waiting to be like, this is the point. This is it. Here we go.
Yeah, honestly, I was kind of waiting for that, like the climax.
I thought too. In the note he gave him at the end, the little packet, he also wrote "No angels." But I don't know. It seemed like, but he like is kind of being the angel, like overlooking him by giving him that. Maybe I just thought there was probably all this Christianity interlaid and it was attempted, but maybe didn't land.
I think it was attempted for sure.
They named his last name was Deacon right off the start and talking about angels and like all this stuff.
I mean, and when he was in the car, there's a shot of him driving and he looks on one of the hills and there was a cross.
Yeah.
They do that twice. They do that in the beginning and the end.
We should just get the writers or director on here, and
honestly, we got to get. I want to get the scoop, but I don't get it.
After we like trash the podcast, we bring them on, and we're like, "What are you thinking?" They're like, "Who are you guys?" We're like, "Yeah, explain it to us."
I want to get on the subreddit to like explain to me like I'm 5, because
there you go.
Yeah, I'm not gonna not recommend it, but I'm not gonna recommend it.
It's a one.
Don't go out of your way to do it. But if you like it, again, it's a solid, like if you'd like detective mystery things, like you could put it on.
Yeah.
It's solid. But if it didn't have that cast, I think it wouldn't have been anything.
Literally though. Yeah. It wouldn't be anything.
All right. Well, I started with a really good first pick and then I'm kind of dropped the ball on this one.
Hey. I actually saw Steve Martin in the background of this, and there should be the film coming out soon.
There we go. Steve Martin, Eddie Murphy are the detective and the cop, the two detectives, and then we replaced Jared Leto with Jamie Kennedy. Who else in that movie?
Heather Graham. Heather Graham
plays
she
Jared
could be the
Leto.
detective.
No, plays Jared Leto.
She'd be fun to see as like a serial killer.
Yeah.
More women serial killer.
I would
movies.
honestly though, I would love to see that. Yeah. But
I'm
yeah,
curious how this is received by other people though, because sometimes I feel like my movie opinion isn't like the collective, like, oh, this is a good movie. Like, so I'm curious what other people think too, but
I mean, our opinion is fact. That's our opinion is fact. That's what this podcast is. Listen to.
I mean, generally, when you see an award attached to a movie, I assume it's probably good.
Yeah, you said Rami was nominated for this.
Jared Leto.
Oh, Jared Leto. Oh, right.
Golden Globe. It's not an Oscar, but I mean, they haven't announced the Oscars yet, but have they?
I don't think so.
But I was like, okay, maybe there's going to be, I don't know. I just don't know what to say.
It's no Bowfinger. It's no Ratatouille. It's
True. But the locations, definitely go check those out when we have those in the app.
Yeah, we'll have to add some.
Because why
You can
not?
go to that field with you can go dig holes.
Yeah, I was like, are they going to bring Shia LaBeouf in? And this is like some holes reference.
Oh my god, it's a multiverse. It's in the same.
It's in the Bowfinger universe.
Yeah, I mean everyone knows holes and Bowfinger is the same world, and this one tied it together clearly.
Bowfinger's like the Iron Man of every other movie.
This is like both finger and like God's thumb. They're all like hand references.
And the
Put
little
it together.
things, little things. I don't know. Your fingers are little things.
Just pointing and nodding. The little things. How could you miss it? So,
If you are listening and you like the movie, I love that you like the movie, and I want to hear your thoughts about it, why you enjoyed it. Again, there were parts I liked. Would I watch it again? Probably not.
To be fair, this podcast is probably better than the movie. I mean,
Wow. Let's not get the director on now.
it just keeps going worse and worse.
You should probably end this right now.
Is there a pick for next week then?
If Joe has a pick,
I have a pick.
you
And
can't. I mean, you
what?
can do worse. You can. So don't do worse.
I'm only picking this because my birthday's next week. So I'm picking
It
something
will
I
have
really
been
like.
by the time this comes out.
Yeah, my
It will
birthday's
have
over.
passed. So hit Joe, go bug Joe though and be like, belated birthday.
Well, if you know me, my birthday, I celebrate my birthday every day. So
Kind of true. Kind of true.
And okay, I spent a lot of time trying to figure out which I'm going to pick because this is why the wheel is so important, because I hate picking things like this because I love so many movies, but I might be ruining Jesse here, but I'm going to pick Midsummer
God.
because I really want to watch the movie again soon. Yeah,
Is
you
it
haven't seen it,
almost-
Jesse.
When
I
is
haven't.
Midsummer?
I believe it's in June. Don't
Coming
quote me on
up.
that. But I'm picking. I want to get this out of the way because I know I'm gonna pick it at some point. Why not my birthday week? I'm just gonna pick it, get it over
That's
with
true.
for Jesse.
I
And
mean,
then,
I feel like I've watched it just from hearing you.
I could probably act
Talk
out the
about
entire movie
it.
right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know the ending because it was a movie where you came out and then you're like, you probably were not going to watch this ever.
Yeah,
And then you also Ari Aster, right?
love Ari Aster.
Big fan.
Let's get him
so-
on the podcast.
So, oh my god, yeah. I mean, he's a big listener.
Huge
So
listener. Yeah.
just hit us up. Did anyone read the Golden Globe nominations? By the way,
No.
No.
okay. Maybe next week we'll talk.
Oh
about
yeah.
it.
I guess any movie news, right? We can
Yeah,
talk
that's the
about
only
that
thing
real
I
quick.
could think of, though.
I mean,
Those Golden Globes.
the,
Again, this is recorded a few weeks before it'll come out, but
today Zack Snyder released his trailer for his Justice League cut, and it actually looks great. But Jared Leto, he's the Joker in it. They did a bunch of reshoots with him, so it looks pretty promising. They released some images, and I posted them on our Instagram. It's pretty fire.
oh,
I do want to know, like, I was excited for Jared Leto's Joker, and then I feel like he was barely in it. So
Yeah.
and maybe that's for a reason. I don't know, but I wanted to see more of like that version because there's so many different versions of the Joker and all these like
Mhm.
different versions of Batman, and I feel like he was like more like the gangster version than the straight up crazy one that like Heath Ledger played. And I don't know that I would have liked it better than Heath Ledger's, but I am curious to see that director's cut if he's in it.
Yeah, it looks like a whole new movie, honestly. It's gonna be like 4 hours. Premiering in March.
4
Cool.
hours.
4 hours.
What is what?
We don't do
What-
anything, Jesse. We just watch movies.
I know, but people who are making movies, they're just like, it can be like 2 hours, and they're like, it could be like 2:45 for 3. You're like Scorsese, and you're like, yeah, this is what I do.
I guess
And
he
then
does have
someone's like 4 hours.
he does have the benefit that it's quarantine and lockdown right now, so he has nothing else to do except make his own cut of the movie.
Oh, just his cut is gonna
It's
be.
so the studio released a Justice League cut and it was really bad, and then Zack Snyder's like, that was not
Oh.
my vision, so he took all the footage basically and remade the movie.
Okay.
And he also shot a bunch of stuff over the past couple months. So It's like a whole new movie. So
That's
cross
cool.
my fingers.
Still insane, but
It's
I want someone to like TV show. I mean, TV shows kind of are like movies now, since you binge through them. But I like someone to be like, well, it's it's like 12 hours, and they're like, oh, so it's like a series, like episodes. No, we put it all in one. We just edited it all together.
Oh, it was like The Irishman. That took me. It was.
Oh my God.
it was a fine movie. I wasn't huge into that movie, but it just kept going.
We watched it over like 3 nights.
It's a lot of
I
talking.
haven't seen that one.
I thought that seems like a movie that when it came out would have been like you were into it.
But I don't feel like anyone's going to talk about it in like a year or two. Like other Scorsese films.
I thought that was pretty well received, wasn't it?
I mean, it might have been. I mean, it was nominated for Oscars, but I just thought my cup of tea.
I feel like it's one of those that maybe this one will be too, where like it came out and it's Scorsese and then it got nominated for Oscars, but everyone was like, why?
Mm-hmm. Well, did you see the CGI in it? It was so bad.
It was
They digital de-aged Robert De Niro. And there was this scene where he kicks someone like on the curb, and he's meant to look young, but he's like old. So he's like, you can tell he's old, but his face is like young. It's just, it doesn't work.
Like before, there's a clip of a different comedian who like posted a thing on Instagram doing his impression of De Niro in that scene, beating him up. And it's so funny just because it's so weird and like old man. Like shout out to Andrew Collins.
Well, that's it then, right?
Yeah. Maybe this is short, but good. Hopefully we'll be back with a better Midsummer. That'll be a movie you can talk about.
I think you're gonna love this movie, Jesse.
Yeah.
I want to. So. Okay, I want to hear your. If you didn't like, okay, I'm just not gonna say anything.
No. I'm fully open minded.
I know.
I like A24 a lot.
That's why I was like
into this enough where I'm like, even though I want to pick it, might still be a really great movie.
And it's not like horrifying. It's not like a jump out scary movie. So
yeah, I'm cool with that. I just, again, like before we talked about, I almost want the crazier weird stuff now with horror movies, because things that are too real now, I'm like,
perfect.
No thanks. Give me the crazy.
I'm very interested
until I join a cult in a year, and then that becomes real.
And then it's all my fault for picking the movie. Where's Jesse? Oh, we haven't seen him since he saw Midsummer. All right. Until next week.
That's a wrap.